India today officially cancelled the VVIP helicopter deal where middlemen linked to the manufacturer Augusta Westland allegedly bribed Indian nationals, including allegedly a former air chief, in order to win the 3,600 crore contract. The government isn't waiting for court proceedings in Italy, where a case is being heard, to be completed. The government believes that Augusta Westland violated an integrity pact which it signed when it entered into the deal. The BJP today said the government's moves were suspicious and pointed fingers at the Gandhi family for being involved in the scam.
India's Defence Ministry has finally cancelled the VVIP Chapo contract after a year-long deliberation. The 3,600 crore contract was cancelled on the basis of consultations with the Law Ministry. The Defence Ministry and the Law Ministry found that the company had violated the pre-contract integrity pact that each of the companies had to sign before they got this contract. Now, the question is, what will happen to the 3 helicopters that have already been delivered and are in the custody of the Indian Air Force? The Indian Defence Ministry has already paid 30% of the cost of the contract to Augusta Westland. Now, this might turn out to be a long legal battle between the company and the Indian government. The other question is, what will happen to the VIPs who need to be ferried from place to place? The current fleet of helicopters are on life extension. That's the question the ministry will grapple with, even as on the first day of 2014, it cancelled this VVIP chopper contract.
All right, well, that was the defense angle of this entire deal. What happens to those helicopters? For a lot of people, the big question now are the allegations being raised by the BJP. Let's quickly bring in focus now on our face-off this evening, BJP and the Congress party, with the BJP making some very serious allegations. Nirmala Sitharaman, why is it the belief of the BJP that in fact families, possibly the Gandhis, are being protected at this stage by India closing this deal?
See, very quickly, if you go back to the history of how this is developed, it was in 2010 February when this agreement was signed. 2012, 13 February, you had a charge sheet in Italy filed based on which the CEO of Finmenca and also the Augusta Westland representative, the CEO in UK, were both charge sheeted, and one of them was also arrested. And after that, when there was a lot of furore in the country, it is only after that that the government started doing something on it. But the worst thing which developed was to have let go this person who was Indian representative of Augusta Westland, even without a minimum of questioning. His name is Paolo, the name slips me now, but the person who was representative of Augusta Westland was sent away without even a minimum of question. That is one thing. And second, even then, when BJP and other parties were trying to ask questions, the way in which this government was trying to push further for a JPC rather than look at the money trail, which meant that they should have issued a letter rogatory, and also look at the various criminal aspects of it and pursue a case. That they did not do. They only went on saying, no, let's have a JPC. End of the day, you went on waiting for some kind of a cooperation to come from Italy, even when the charge sheet there referred to the family which has received money. And the CBI had about 13 different names of very important people, some ministers' brothers also involved in it, none of which is proceeding in terms of
action. So, ma'am, why doesn't the BJP say it directly? You allege that the Gandhis were involved. Is that who you believe the words "the family" refers to?
We want to know from the Congress party and from the CBI, what have you been doing all the while?
Sanjay?
February 2013 onwards, whole lot of big.
Okay, let me put that to Sanjay. The family. That's what existed. These words in the prosecutor's report. The BJP now says quite directly, could this be the Gandhis?
Well, I can tell you, Vishnu, that the BJP is simply obsessed with the Gandhi family because they see them as a huge political threat given their charisma and popularity across India. And I'll give you a simple example here. It's very strange because if any party in India's parliamentary history brought disrepute was the way when you saw the BJP president being caught on Operation Western done by Tehelka. And that, by the way, was not the only incident. You look at Sukhoi, they even went to an extent of a scam with regard to coffins for the Kargil war heroes who died. So the BJP has absolutely no moral authority. They're hypocritical, double speak, double standards. Now let me answer the issue of the family. I don't want to make any allegations. If let them make an allegation, the BJP spokesperson is not suing so explicitly because they might actually get sued for some very serious defamation. They are fully aware that there is a family related to somebody in the defense services who are being investigated. But this is an attempt to try and malign the Gandhi family, and I'm saying this on your channel, and the BJP is free to respond to it after I'm done. But the most important point that the BJP spokesperson is trying to dodge, if you look at the origins, Vishnu, of the Westland helicopter problem, it happened because the Prime Minister's office of the NDA time, led by Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee and Mr. Brijesh Mishra, who's unfortunately no more. Can you imagine the PMO was trying to intervene in terms of the specifications of a helicopter?
Sanjay, that's the case.
Is the PMO having the competence and the expertise
to respond to that very pointed remark?
And that is the source of the corruption
that you've raised. Why isn't the BJP, ma'am, directly saying Sonia Gandhi or Rahul Gandhi or the family? Why are you not naming names? Are you not convinced with the information that you have?
It's not just us having the information or not. The fact that the Congress party can go on referring to things which are not even true. Coffin scam, wasn't George Fernandez cleared of it? And was it really a coffin scam? How outrageous are these kind of remarks which are being passed after even when the clean sheet has been given for George and others in this? This shows the very nature of the Congress party.
But again, ma'am, you aren't answering the question.
I will answer the question. And where the Congress spokesperson is allowed to come with irrelevant point, I should at least be given an opportunity to rebut that. That wasn't germane to this debate. You've given him a decent time to say falsehoods, and therefore I'm taking my time to rebut it. With that said, if let us assume Atal Bihari Vajpayee's government and Brijesh Mishra, who's no longer with us, took a decision, which I think they took a decision for the technicalities. But if you think that was wrong, what stopped the Congress from signing the agreement in February 2010?
Okay.
They did it, didn't they?
Okay.
And they didn't do any amendments, didn't they?
All right.
Did they do any amendments? So to talk loud and to pontificate, especially on corruption-related matters,
Sanjay,
why did they not allow the CBI to go and file a case? Why did they not allow any inquiries? And why was this hogwash of JPC inquiry in the parliament?
Sanjay,
and why did they not follow the money trail? So I think the Congress should give us answers, then say, why the BJP? You had 10 full years after that.
All right,
what have
Sanjay,
you done with yourselves?
go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, Vishnu, is very simple. Can you imagine how absolutely preposterous that argument is? And I'll tell you how. The BJP holds an entire session of parliament,
there we go again.
blackmails
No
the
answers.
entire
No
government
answers.
on JPC. But when the government asked for a JPC on the Westland Augusta deal, they said, no, JPC is not the right solution. Now, I think the BJP really needs to understand, at one point, the JPC is the most sacrosanct authority to look at any corruption issue. On the other hand, because they knew that they have an origin into the entire issue, which will come into investigation, at that point, they thought JPC was a roadblock. Point number two, the proof of the pudding is in the eating, Vishnu. The fact that the Defense Minister of India, whose integrity is beyond doubt, has now not just cancelled the thing, he's actually put a fine on Augusta Westland. And that tells you the resolve and the intent of the government.
Okay, all right.
This is what we have done. We have gone ahead and we have put a penalty and we have cancelled the deal.
Okay, Nirmala Sitharaman has cancelled the deal.
She made an allegation.
Not a favor that the government is doing for the people of India.
The truth is,
that's not a favor.
Excuse me,
I think,
the CBI inquiry is on. And by the way, when you are dealing with international authorities, 1 minute, when you are dealing with governments in Italy and governments in Britain, you have to comply with their local laws as well. So please don't try and give this impression that there was an attempt to delay it on our part.
Okay, all right. Okay, Sanjay, you made your point. Okay, Sanjay, you made your point.
Yeah.
Nirmala ji, go ahead.
There are three things which are critical to what Sanjay ji is trying to say from the point of view of Congress. One, integrity pact is a part of the agreement, and any forfeiture will definitely result in withdrawing the contract, asking for repayment of all that amount which was paid. All this is part of the Integrity Pact. There's nothing new. It is part of the establishment procedure which they are following, and they are not doing a favor to the country. One. Second, for the JPC to be compared with the 2G JPC, there is definitely a difference. 2G JPC was essential and we asked for it. Later the government had to comply and give it because it was their own argument. It was their own argument.
It wasn't essential in this case.
No, I'm just explaining it. It was their own argument saying the criminality is being checked up by the courts in the 2G, which resulted in the cancellation of 122 licenses. But as regards policy, courts can't say anything, you can't question, and therefore the JPC became an important body through which, if there was a policy flip-flop or if there were any checks and balances which were removed, JPC was necessitated and we asked for it, then the government had to give it.
Okay, I think
but in this case, neither the criminality is being followed. That is what I've been raising. Did they issue a letter rogatory? Did they follow it up there? The charge sheet there says that there was money given for this. And if it was
Nirmalaji, I'm just going to interrupt because we are genuinely out of time. But the fact is, it comes down, but Nirmalaji, as you've gone around the argument very deftly and perhaps quite successfully on the words the family, because there is an argument that the words the family in the prosecutor's report refers not to the Gandhis as has been alleged.
How sure are you about anything?
It could be.
It has to be checked up.
About the family of the former air chief who has been directly
implicated. It could be any family. It could be any family.
So therefore, what exactly is the BJP saying?
It could be any.
Where are you pointing your finger? And that's the question. Where are you cleaning your guns?
I'm being very clear in my answer. You want a certain answer from my mouth, and that's exactly what the Congress spokesperson is also trying.
Because we would love to know.
Why don't you wait, Mr. Jha? I know you're very nervous on this issue. Why don't you wait for others to speak?
No, don't try and make innuendos. Don't make allusions. Don't try and make political capital.
Will you just hold on? You are making innuendos about what I'm trying to say now. Mr. I think you should allow me to speak. Much before I have even given an answer, you either drown my answer or you suggest an innuendo.
I'm certainly not drowned.
No, you're talking about our leaders. You can't be casual about it.
Sanjay,
I've not said anything, Mr. Jha. I think, hold on.
Just a moment, Sanjay. Let her make the point. We're running completely out of time. Very briefly, ma'am. Yes.
Sure.
You want a certain answer from my mouth? No.
Okay,
I'm giving you
that's an answer by itself. Yes.
I'm giving an answer that the family, the expression the family used in the charge sheet in Italy will have to be fairly investigated to find out who that family is.
So that clarifies.
So in that case, don't be presumptuous. And how can you afford to make statements against the leaders of the Congress party on a national television as a national spokesperson with such casual disdain? I think I strongly...
I don't think she said that.
I object to this nonsense.
I'm not sure she said that directly, but yes,
I object to the nonsense which this spokesperson is saying here.
All right. Well,
will you please do the correction here?
This is a
Will you please do a correction here, Mr. Anchor? I'm sorry to say
we can't do any correction. He said what he had to say.
What is he suggesting? I'm sorry. What is he suggesting?
What are you, Sanjay, what exactly are you suggesting?
It is he who is giving an innuendo. I protest.
All right, both of you are saying that fair enough, ma'am. Protest registered, everybody alleging innuendos are being made. All right. Okay, we've run completely out of time. It's a question about...
responsible spokesperson has to do.
Fair enough.
You speak for your party, I speak for mine.
All right, fair enough. I think that's actually, Nirmalaji, that's a good way to end this debate. You speak for the BJP.
Let him also not drown my voice.
Congress. Let's hope nobody drowns anybody's voice over here. We've run completely out of time, but I suspect this is an issue which will come up in the future. Thanks very much for being with us.